Good morning, you guys. Welcome back to Ashley's Homestead Adventures. And we are out and about bright and early this morning because today is butcher day for me. I have got some roosters that I need to butcher. And so we're out and about super early. We're going to get the kids out to pasture, and then I'll get set up and get some roosters taken care of. And just so that those of you who are not those of you who do not like seeing meat or butchered animals, you know, then maybe this is the beginning of this video is not for you. Just go ahead and skip past the front part. I'm not going to show any killing or any gory stuff. I will, you know, show you some live roosters, and then I will show you some finished products and what we are going to do with said finished products. So it's basically going to look like what it looks like on the farm and then what it looks like from the grocery store. So there's not going to be any gory, yucky stuff. There's plenty of people out there that are showing how to butcher chickens. I don't need to do that for you. You can find that somewhere else. This is not something that I love to do, but it is a necessity. And usually Mr. Wonderful does this for me, but of course he's in Oregon and I'm here in Arkansas. So I got to put my big girl britches on and get her done. So we'll be doing that this morning, and then we'll move on to any number of other tasks. I mean, providing that nothing serious goes wrong, which you just never know with us. So come along for another day on the farm, and let's see what kind of adventures we can get into today. Okay, so I got the sheep mamas out to pasture with their babies, and Velvet's out to pasture, and I've got myself all set up here with my kill cones and a table and some Ziploc bags, a trash can, my knives, and a hose. And I went ahead and disinfected, cleaned the table. And we have, basically there's 3 roosters in here that I have caught out of the tractor. We have the, I think that's a blue laced red Wyandotte, and then we have a speckled Sussex right here, and then there's a cinnamon roux who is teeny tiny, and he's in there hiding because Bart won't let him outside. So and Bart is my barred rock rooster. These are his ladies, and he's kind of, his nose is a little bent out of shape right now because I threw in some other roosters in his coop, and he's like, what in the heck? So, and then I also have out here at the mobile tractor, I'm gonna make a decision here real quick. I have a couple options. I don't think I have enough hens out here to leave 2 roosters, but I've got 2 beautiful big roosters. So I think what I may do is I may put some barred rocks in here to make up the ratio. You should have 7 to 10 at least hens per rooster. And right now I think there's 14 hens out here and 2 roosters, which is not enough. So I would need to add some hens because Bart really has more than enough. He has 22 hens for just the one of him. So I could take 6 or so hens from him and leave him with 18 hens and give these boys more hens in order to keep these 2 big boys out here. I thought for sure that these blue laced red Wyandottes were going to be roosters, but nobody said a word, so I'm just going to stand out here for a minute and survey See if anybody crows. This is my second butcher day, so I'd really rather take care of them all at once. So I believe that boy is staying, and the other boy that I think is staying is inside the house. But that leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There he is in all his glory. Handsome boy. Okay, so it turns out I've got 2 blue-laced red Wyandotte roosters as well. So yin and yang are gonna stay. I don't know if that's what I'm gonna name them or not, but the 2 those are they're either Gen 1 or Gen 3 olive egger boys that I got from this old farm. They're gonna stay because they are the biggest roosters that I have, and we want to continue to breed big because we want to breed for meat. So they will continue to stay, and they are not aggressive at all thus far. So I will go ahead and pull the Wyandottes out of here, and then I will add the amount of chickens that I need to even it out for these 2 boys here. And of course the pasture is green right now, so it's good to put as many chickens on here as this will hold, where they can eat the grass in a day, because of course that saves on feed. So I'm gonna get to work, and I will get back to you guys after all of the dirty work is done. And what we have here is 3 out of the 7 roosters that have been butchered today. Not a huge size, but enough, and certainly enough that we don't want the meat to go to waste, and so these will become dog food. And just like that, it's like nothing happened. Everybody's back to eating scraps, and we have meat in the freezer. And I don't know what I was thinking when I showed you guys the chickens. It was 5 today, 5 roosters, not 7. Sorry about that, but Bart is happy to be the only rooster in his coop again. So I do have 22 ladies out here, and I think I counted, my water fell out of my water container. I'm filling up my container so I can go out and water the chickens and the sheep. So I do believe that I'm gonna need to do some shuffling around, because I have 2 roosters in the old coop, not the old coop, the pasture coop, and I think it's 12 hens. I'm gonna have to double check that. And here I have 1 rooster and 22 hens, and I do not want to put one of those olive eggers in here because I'd like to keep this coop purebred barred rock, so that when we do start collecting eggs from these girls to hatch out, we have purebred barred rocks that if we don't need them at the time, we can potentially sell them as purebred barred rocks. So I want to keep this garden coop pure, the camo coop pure, and I can fiddle fart around with, you know, changing things up in the other one. So I'll add some ladies to the other one, and which will be nice because those ladies can go out to pasture, and it'll decrease the amount of pressure inside this coop. Being a static coop, it'll decrease the amount of pressure on the ground here. So all is good. I'll get to doing that. I'm filling up my water right now. We're gonna continue on with chores on the farm. Okay, so now there's a couple things that I believe are important to just note in here for those of you who don't know or who are watching my channel hoping to learn. I mean, I do believe in teaching everything to you guys that I know. I don't claim to be an expert on many things, but I do want to share what I know so that you, if you so choose to, you can grow your own food too. That's the whole purpose of this. So I do want to share roosters. There's this big controversy out there, and I don't know if it's a controversy or a lot of people will tell you that roosters are super tough. First of all, that's not true. Old roosters are super tough. Young roosters, they're not tough at all. You do need to make sure that when you process chickens, whether they're roosters or hens, that it is important to treat the meat professionally and accordingly to relaxing the and keeping getting the tension out of the muscles from the actual death of the animal. And it's the same thing as like beef and pork and lamb is hung to age it. It's the relaxation of the muscles so that it's not tough. Chicken, you need to get it cool. Turkey, poultry, but we're talking about chicken today, roosters. You need to get it cool. Now, I am using this for dog food, so mine just went into the fridge, and they go to the fridge for, 12 hours, and they go right in the crock pot. But if they don't go right into the crock pot after their 12-hour resting in the fridge, then they will go in the freezer. A lot of times what we will do if we're doing a chicken butchering day for our own consumption, we will actually have a big barrel or cooler of ice out near the butcher station. And when the animal is completely done and clean, ready to go in a bag to go into the freezer or wherever it's going to end up at, it goes in that ice bath. And that it goes in there for at least an hour, and that relaxes the muscles, and then at that point it can go into the freezer. So just wanted to point out, because it's kind of important. People get this misconception that roosters are tough. No, young roosters are not tough, they're just not processed correctly. So that's a you live and you learn kind of thing, and been there, done that. So mine go in the freezer or go in the fridge, and then after 12 hours, they either go in the crock pot or they go in the freezer. And that's only because I really don't want to do an ice bath for 5 little roosters. So it's easy. I have room in my fridge. It's just me here right now. So I have room in my fridge to put them until they go into the freezer. So make sure you cool your poultry before it goes into the freezer, so that it is not tough. That's a very, very important step. Now, I've got a final count out to the pasture tractor, and I have made sure I double counted here at the barred rock coop. The barred rock coop has 22 hens, 1 rooster. The pasture tractor has 12 hens and 2 roosters. So I need to pull 8 barred rocks from the garden coop here and get them taken out to the pasture coop, and then that way my roosters have even coverage over my hens. That is another thing I wanted to bring up. The reason why I'm doing that is it is important to not stress your hens out by being overbred, especially if you're looking for good egg production from your hens. You do not want them to be getting overbred because there's too many roosters per the amount of hens that you have. That's another reason why it was important for me to go ahead and butcher these roosters, is because the quality of life of my hens and all of my chickens, really, because the roosters are fighting if there's too many roosters, is it very, very, very important to me. I want my animals to be comfortable. A 10 hen to 1 rooster ratio. That's kind of where I like to keep it at. And if I've got, you know, if I've got 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 hens, I'm gonna have 1 rooster. If I've got 20 hens, 2 roosters. So I'm gonna get that evened out to where my coops are healthy, in a breeding form healthy, to where my hens aren't too stressed out and my roosters aren't, you know, fighting for no reason. They've got plenty of hens to go around and be happy. So I'm gonna get that done. I'm back to catching chickens. Today is the day for catching chickens. Okay, now as you can see, so the pasture coop with what it has had has just, it really hasn't had enough to, you know, really mow the grass down in a day. So this coop could handle more hens because they move every single day. So now we've got a nice little mixture. All of our Barty girls are there in the back, and they'll stay huddled together for a while, you know, until they integrate into the flock in here. Till Shorty tells them where they need to go. That's my Shorty girl. I don't know what she is, but she's cool looking. So the boys, I think I might end up calling them yin and yang, yin and yang. I don't know. We'll see. I gotta come up with some cool names for them because they are fabulous. Beautiful big boys. 22 chickens in this coop now, this pasture coop, and that is good. That is what I wanted to have in here. I wanted to have 20 to 25, so 22 works good for me. And the garden coop is down to 15. So that's a good number for a static coop. 10 to 20 is a good number for, I think, for that coop. I mean, I don't mind keeping more because I'm pretty diligent about keeping my coops clean, but I think that us having what do we have? We have 34 hens and 3 roosters. So we have 37 chickens. So that's a far cry down from 50, which is what we had at one point. So now it's on to showing you how we're going to use these roosters. Okay, here we have 2 roosters that are frozen from the last butchering that we did, and they are going in the crock pot. They'll cook on low for 8 to 12 hours, you know, just however long. It's usually 8 to 12, however long it takes for the meat to fall off the bone. And then I will strip all of the meat from the bones, save the bones. The bones go back in the crock pot to make bone broth for the dogs. So that is that process. That's gonna just sit kind of funky for a little while. I'll keep coming back and check in, and once they can squish down, then the lid will go on and they'll really start doing their magic. But they just go in the crock pot and they cook low and slow until the meat falls off the bone for the dogs. And then I will make rice and cut up vegetables, some of those vegetables, for the dogs, and that will be their dog food. I do save the, I don't know if we can see any on, oh yeah, here's one right here. That is actually a heart. So I do save the hearts and the livers of the chickens that I butcher, if I can. If the heart's not too fatty or if the liver's not diseased, then I do save the hearts and the livers, and they just go in the batch of dog food. You know, when I cook them, they go in at this point because they're frozen in the same bag as the roos are. So there you have it. There's a little tiny hat right there. And that is going to do it for today, you guys. I'm going to continue in the kitchen. I have a ton of the harvest that I've been trying to catch up on is coming in the kitchen, and I need to make space for, you know, what's left to come in. And so I just really wanted to show you guys and explain a little bit without actually showing the action of Butcher Day, of what Butcher Day looks like for me. When I'm butchering chickens, why we do it, and where it goes. So I wanted to share that experience with you and share what I do on my homestead and how I feed my dogs a healthier diet, because it is, as a dog mom, it is important to me to take good care of my puppies, and I like to share as much of that with you as I possibly can. So I hope you guys had a beautiful day. Thanks for coming along with me, and I'll catch you on the next one. Yours truly.